ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णा प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णा चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेषुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्वमृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजता दधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। आप सभी का स्वागत है आज के इस
We welcome all of you to today's Bhagavad-Gita class. We are studying chapter 7, verse 11.
भगवान अर्जुन को अपने बारे में बता रहे हैं कि
Bhagavan is explaining about himself to Arjuna because he had said that I will explain to you with Gyan and Vigyan.
उन्होंने अपनी दो प्रकार की प्रकृतियों के बारे में बताया
And there will be nothing further to be known. Then he explained about his two prakritis, and then he said that everything in this world is created out of a mix of both. And he is the origin of this world and he is the destruction. Then he explained about some of his vibhutis with which we can understand him and we can meditate on him. So in that sequence we have the current verse.
कामराग विवर्जितम धर्मा विरुद्धो भूतेषु कामोऽस्मि भरतर्षभा। हे भरत श्रेष्ठ,
Translation:
मैं बलवान
O
हूँ
best of the
ज्ञानवान हूँ,
Bharatas, I am the
काम
strength of
और
the
राग से
strong,
रहित हूँ,
free from
और
hankering and
मनुष्यों में वह
attachment.
काम हूँ
And in human
जो
beings,
शास्त्र
I
विधियों
am
के विरुद्ध
passion
नहीं।
that is unopposed to scriptural injunctions.
तो बलवान कहते ही उसी को है जिसके अंदर बल होता है,
So who is strong? One who has strength.
लेकिन बल जो है
But
वो यहाँ से
here
पढ़ने से पता चलता है कि वो दो प्रकार का है, एक काम
we
राग से
understand there are two types
एक
of
काम
strength.
राग रहित।
One is with
तो
passion
जब हमारे
attached,
अंदर
with
काम
hankering
आने शुरू
attachment,
हो
and the
जाते
other
हैं
one that is devoid of
तो
hankering and
उससे वेग
attachment.
आता है
So when we have some desire,
को पूरा
hankering,
करने के लिए,
then there is an urge in the
तो
body
वो
to fulfill that
एक
desire.
अलग प्रकार का बल है।
That is a
और जब
different
हम
type of
धर्म का
strength.
पालन करना चाहते
And
हैं,
when we
भक्ति करना
want to
चाहते हैं,
follow
तो
dharma, want
दूसरे
to
प्रकार
engage
का
in
बल है।
bhakti,
तो भगवान
then we have a
कहते
different
हैं कि
type of
जो
strength.
इस
So
कामना
here
के
Bhagavan
राग से
is
रहित है,
saying that one who
यानी
is
कि जब इस
free
काम
from
राग से
this
सेवा
hankering and
भक्ति में
attachment,
उपयोग
meaning
किया जाता
that
है, एक
one who
प्रकार
is
का मन का
utilizing
उत्साह
kama
होता है,
only for
तो वो भगवान
seva,
का
devoid of any
स्वरूप है।
selfish interest, that kama is
और
a
जो
form of
काम राग
Bhagavan.
रहित है,
And the kama that
आसुरी
is
प्रकृति है,
that
उसका
is
वर्णन
along with hankering and attachment,
भगवान करेंगे।
that is
ईश्वरो हम
demoniac,
अहंकारी,
that Bhagavan will
ईश्वर हम
explain in
बलवान।
the 16th chapter.
तो आसुरी प्रकृति वाला भी अपने को बलवान मानता है,
The Asuri
जो
Prakriti, or
भोग
one
करना
who has
चाहता है,
demoniac nature, he also considers himself to be
इंद्रिय तृप्ति
strong
करना चाहता
because
है,
he wants
शरीर
to
तृप्ति
enjoy his
करने के लिए,
senses.
तो
He has
वो भी
strength.
कहता है मैं बलवान
So
हूँ।
he also says that I
तो
am a
भगवान
strong
वही
person.
भगवान नहीं है।
But Bhagavan is
जब
not
अर्जुन
that type
कहता है
of
अहंकारम
strength,
बलम दर्पम
strength,
कामम
or
क्रोधम
one
च
who
संहिता, जो अहंकार के साथ में बल, एक प्रकार का, खाली अहंकार करने से तो कुछ होता
one
नहीं
who
है,
is
साथ में बल भी चाहिए कुछ करने
has
के लिए।
ahankara and strength along with it. Only ahankara is not
दर्प
sufficient.
आता
You
है,
also
काम
need to have
आता है, क्रोध
strength.
आता है, तो ये सब
And then
आसुरी प्रकृति में
there
भगवान
is darpa,
डाले
kama,
हैं।
krodh. Bhagavan has enlisted all of these in
तो
demoniac nature.
उनसे जो विरुद्ध है,
So
उनसे जो मुक्त है,
that
वो दैवी
one
प्रकृति
who
है,
is free from these demoniac
इसको वो अपना स्वरूप
qualities,
बताते हैं।
who has Devi
हालांकि
Prakriti, divine
सब
nature,
कुछ भगवान
Bhagavan explains that is his own
दैवी
Swarup.
प्रकृति आसुरी
Although
प्रकृति से मुक्त
ultimately
नहीं है,
everything is Bhagavan
लेकिन
only, whether
हमारी
it is divine or demoniac nature,
क्योंकि
but
भगवान
from
की दृष्टि से
our point of view,
ऐसा
from
भेदभाव
Bhagavan's
नहीं
point
है,
of view, there is no
उनके अंदर द्वैत नहीं है,
difference because there is no duality in
तो
him.
एक अद्वैत तत्व है।
He is the one Advaya
लेकिन
Tattva,
हमारी साधक की दृष्टि से या मनुष्य की दृष्टि से
the one
वो
non-dual
बांटा है,
reality.
क्योंकि कुछ
But
कुछ
from our sadhaka point of view, there are
हमें
two
भगवान की
divisions
तरफ ले जाती हैं,
because there are some
और
activities
कुछ
that
क्रियाएं
take us
हमारी
towards Bhagavan and other
भगवत प्राप्ति
activities
में
that take
अवरोध
us
पैदा करती हैं।
away from Bhagavan or create
तो जो अवरोध
obstacles
पैदा
in the
करती
path
हैं,
of attaining
जो हमको
Bhagavan.
भगवान से विमुख
So
करती
those
हैं, उनके
activities that
अभ्यस्त
create
चित्त बुद्धि
obstacles,
को
they
हम
are
कहते हैं
enlisted in demoniac
जीव
nature.
असुरासुर जना आसुरा, जिसमें व्यक्ति को ये नहीं पता चलता है कि क्या करना
Here, the
चाहिए, क्या
person
नहीं
does not
करना
know
चाहिए,
what should be done and what should be
तो
avoided.
फिर काम के वशीभूत
Then,
होकर कार्य
being
करता है।
influenced by karma,
तो ये है
he
कि शास्त्र
performs
से
all
हमको समझ में आए,
activities. One is that we
जैसे
understand from
भगवान गीता
Shastra,
में कहते हैं
like
तस्मात्
Bhagavan speaks
शास्त्रम
in Gita.
प्रमाणंते कार्य क्या कार्य व्यवस्थित हो, कार्य माने प्रवृत्ति, कार्य निवृत्ति
Bhagavan
माने
says that we should
निवृत्ति।
learn from Shastra
तो इसको जानना
what is to
हमको
be done and
शास्त्रों से
what is to
पड़ता
be
है,
avoided.
और अगर हम शास्त्र से नहीं चलेंगे तो फिर
And
अपनी
if we
मन
do
की
not
इच्छाओं के अनुसार
work
चलेंगे।
according to Shastra, then we work
तो इसलिए
according
ये
to our
भगवान
mind.
मना करते हैं काम
For
राग
so
से,
Bhagavan is forbidding that,
क्योंकि ये
working
काम
just
जो है
according
ये
to
एक
our
प्रकार का नशा
desires.
होता है।
Because this karma is
जैसे
a
कि
type of
आदमी
addiction.
नशा करता है,
Just like when a
मादक
person is
द्रव्य का
addicted to some,
उपयोग करता
let's
है,
say, alcohol
तो
or
उसमें
other
भी एक
such
शक्ति आती है
substances,
चलने की,
then
बोलने
also
की,
he gets a power to do
अपने शरीर को
something, to
खो देता
speak
है,
something. He loses
क्योंकि
his sense
नशा
of discrimination
यही काम करता है।
because this
कोई
is
भी जो
the
नशीली
influence
पदार्थ है,
of
कोई भी
addiction.
चीज़ है, वो हमको
Any
तमस में
addictive
डाल देती है,
substance
और
takes us
तमस
into
में डालने के
tamas.
कारण फिर हमारी बुद्धि,
And
हमारा
when we
विवेक
are influenced by
वो नष्ट हो
tamas,
जाता है,
then our intelligence, our
और फिर
sense
हम
of
ठीक प्रकार से
discrimination is
सोच नहीं
lost.
सकते हैं।
And then
तो
we
फिर क्या
cannot
होता है,
think
हम अपनी
clearly.
इच्छाओं के अधीन हो
Then what
जाते हैं,
happens is that we work being influenced totally by our desires. In a normal situation, what happens is that when we are in a state of awareness, even if we have some wrong desires in our mind, then we think according to our intelligence or wisdom and decide that no, I should not engage in fulfilling this desire. If you are walking in Vrindavan, suppose somebody is selling a mango on the roadside, so you don't think that I should just pick it up and start eating. You have the desire, you can do that. Monkeys do that. If you leave the monkey will just go and snatch the mango and eat, because monkey doesn't have any sense of discrimination. Monkey works just according to his desire, but we do not work like that. Why? Because we have this sense of discrimination, we have intelligence, we understand that it is wrong, I should not do this. But when human being is influenced by some addictive substances, then he works according to monkey. Then there is no difference between the human being and monkey. So why does this happen? It happens because his buddhi, his vivek or sense of discrimination, he uses them to think upon whether he should fulfill his desires or avoid fulfilling the desires. We take decision based on our intelligence. Everyone has intelligence, but if the intelligence is influenced by tamogun, then we cannot take proper decisions. Just like alcohol, other addiction substances, they destroy our intelligence. Similarly, this desire for enjoyment also influences our intelligence. Actually, there is no difference between both. That is why, being influenced by karma, the person performs adharma, irreligious activities. Ravana was born in the Brahmin dynasty. It is said that he was a great scholar. It is also said that he wrote commentary on Vedas. How much of that this statement is true, I don't know. But it is definitely accepted that he was very learned. He had performed severe austerities also, but due to his karma, he had to die, and he is known as Asura or a demon. Even though he was born in the Brahman dynasty, in the dynasty of Brahma, but then due to karma, he is known as an Asura. That's why here it is said that I am that strength of the strong which is devoid of hankering and attachment. That's why it is generally seen that often that the criminals, they perform criminal activities being influenced by wine. Before committing criminal activity, they consume wine. And why? Because that destroys their sense of discrimination. That's why those who go to fight in the war, the soldiers, sometimes they are fed with alcohol so that they do not get influenced by the sense of compassion towards the enemy. That if I kill this enemy, his wife, his will become widow, his children will become orphans. Just like Arjun was overpowered with compassion. That's why sometimes these soldiers, they are fed with alcohol so that they do not start discriminating like that, being becoming compassionate for the enemy, towards the enemy. That's why when anybody enters the spiritual path, this is the reason why uh, alcohol is forbidden, or it is said that you should not eat onion, garlic, or these rules which are there regarding our food.
भोज्य पदार्थ हमारे सत्व गुण को
What is important regarding that?
कुछ भोज्य पदार्थ
Some food substances, they increase our rajogun, some increase our tamogun. So if we want to progress on the spiritual path, then it is better to be situated in sattva guna, because we have to use our buddhi, we have to be free from attachment. Sattva gun brings illumination in the intelligence, in the senses, but tamas brings heaviness and darkness.
तो इसके लिए भगवान कहते हैं कि मैं
For this reason, Bhagavan says,
विवर्जित बल हूँ, बलवान का।
I am the strength that is devoid of hankering and attachment. And here two words are used, kama and raga.
तो ये थोड़ा समझने वाला है कि काम और राग में अंतर क्या है। राग का मतलब भी होता है किसी चीज की इच्छा।
It is important to understand the difference between kama and raga, because kama also means to desire something, raga also means to desire something. Then why are two words used? So regarding this, the commentators explain in different ways, because sometimes we say raga dvesh, or sometimes you may say kama and dvesh. So it is explained that raga means ichha or desire, and kama means the summit of desire, the culmination of desire. This is how Sri Ramanujacharya ji explains, meaning when you cannot control your desire, then it is raga, because raga also means color. Your buddhi becomes so much colored by the desire that there is a oneness between you and the desire. When there is kama, then you can see that this is myself and this is my desire. But in the stage of raga, there is a sort of oneness between you and desire. You cannot see yourself separate from the desire. Someone else has explained that kama means the object of enjoyment. The four purusharthas of dharma, artha, kama, moksha, there also kama does not mean desire. There kama means the objects of enjoyment. The objects that we desire, that they are kama. And raga means desire. That's why this sort of difference is made. Kama means the objects of enjoyment, and raga means to desire these objects. Shankaracharya ji explains in a different way. He says that what we have not obtained till now, desiring to obtain that is called kama. And then what is raga? Raga is what we already have. We already have it. To become attached too much to that, that is raga. This is how he has explained. Vishwanath Chakravarti ji explains again in a different way. This is a way of thinking for the commentators, that kama is desire and raga is anger. Why? Because raga makes your heart totally red. Raga also means red, like rakta. Rakta is blood, that is red in color. Like in Hindi, we say gusse mein laal ho gaya, which actually means the person has turned red out of anger. So when somebody is angry, then he shows so much strength. One is the strength that you have at the stage of desire. The other is at the stage of anger. Angry person has his own strength. For that reason, Bhagavan says to be devoid of kama and raga. So different commentators have explained in different ways. So we should understand this, that when two words are used together,
उनका फिर अर्थ अलग अलग करना पड़ता है. इसको
then you have to
गोविंदवत न्याय बोलते
explain
हैं.
them in different ways.
गो भी गाय को बोलते हैं, बलिवर्ध भी गाय, बैल को बोलते हैं. तो अगर दोनों शब्द एक साथ आ जाएं तो फिर उसमें कुछ तो भेद करना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि जो व्यक्ति शब्द का प्रयोग कर रहा है वो कोई अनपढ़ व्यक्ति नहीं है.
The person who is using the words, he is not an illiterate person. He is very intelligent. So he must have had some difference of meaning in both words. That's why he is using the two words separately. So
होना चाहिए.
we should strive to become free of kama.
कहते हैं धर्मा अविरुद्धो भूतेषु कामो अस्मि भर्तर्षभ.
Then in the second half of the verse he says that in human beings I am that kama which is not against shastra or dharma. And what is dharma? Dharma is that which explains shastra. Dharma is nothing but the prescriptions of shastra. This type of kama. Here also there are two meanings for the word kama. One is in a general sense to desire something. We have so many desires. So for our bodily maintenance, for sustenance, we have desires. So if that is not against the shastra, then that kama is fine. Because in the previous line, Bhagavan said that I am the strength which is devoid of hankering and attachment. That means there must be some other type of person also who is devoid of kama. So there it means that he has desire, but the desires are according to shastra. That's why in the first line, when the word kama is used, that kama is that kama which is against shastra. Because so we have to understand that in the first line, the kama that is mentioned, that kama is against shastra. Because the kama that is not against shastra, that kama is Bhagavan himself. Meaning the kama that is free from irreligiosity or adharma, that is Bhagavan. And the person who is free from the kama that is adharma, his strength is Bhagavan himself. The other meaning that has been explained by many commentators here, it means bhog, sexual union, the desire for sexual union, that is also referred to as kama. In English, we use the word lust for this.
यानी कि इस प्रकार की इच्छा, लेकिन वो धर्म के विरुद्ध नहीं है.
So this type of sexual desire which is not against dharma, that is Bhagavan. Then what is the sexual desire that is not against dharma? That is the desire in which the couple engages only for begetting child. Because in Shastra, we study about many rishis. They also gave birth to children. So, but their engagement in sexual desire was not against Shastra. It was according to Dharma. There are many accounts in Puranas of rishis who first underwent austerities before engaging in sexual union. For example, one of the best examples is Kardama Rishi, whose story is narrated in Srimad Bhagavatam. Kardama Rishi, Bhagavan told him that you should increase the population. That's why Kardam Rishi is also known as one of the Prajapatis. So first of all, he underwent austerities. After that, he engaged in sexual union to beget child. His wife was Devahuti, and the son's name was Kapiladev. So why did he undergoes so much austerity? If he had to beget a child, why did he undergo these austerities? The purpose was that when he engages in the process of union with the wife, then it will not be just for uh, sensual pleasure. Rather, it will be for begetting child. In today's society, is very difficult to understand this, that how is this possible. Similarly, there is the story of Atri Rishi. He is also the son of Brahma. He was also instructed to beget child, so he underwent austerity, and then Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, all three appeared in front of him, and from Anusuya Devi he begot three children. Like this, there are many examples. Even Bhagavan Sri Krishna underwent austerities for 12 years before begetting the child Samba. That's why the boy is known as Samba. Amba is the wife of Bhagavan Shiva. And because because Shiva is with Amba, so one of his names is Samba. So Samba is actually the name of Bhagavan Shiva. That's he named his son after Bhagavan Shiva's name Samba, because he had done austerities to please Lord Shiva before begetting this child. So what he is showing is that this process of reproduction is also a religious process. And in the beginning of creation, this process was considered a religious, a dharmic process only. The way it is seen today, the way it is seen in a negative light, the union of man and woman, it was not considered like this earlier. It was considered as a very pure process, and the couple had to undergo various samskaras. That's why the children who were born, they were also of this stature, of great, very high standard. So we see that
तो भोजन शरीर के पोषण के लिए किया जाता है, उसका मुख्य उद्देश्य वही है.
We eat food for nourishment, for sustenance of body. But when we eat food, we also derive some pleasure. But that pleasure is not the primary purpose of food. Similarly, this process of reproduction is, its primary purpose is to beget child, and it also gives some pleasure to the senses, but that sensual pleasure is not its primary purpose. When we study Shastra, we see that the when Brahmaji created this world, he just begot children without even sexual union. He generated the praja without sexual union. So after that population was increasing by the sexual process, but still there was no sensual pleasure in that. And as time passed by, there was both sensual pleasure and reproduction. But now in Kali Yuga, the process everything is topsy turvy, and now there is only sensual pleasure, and the couple doesn't want a child. They just want to engage in sensual pleasure. So how we have degenerated from dharma to adharma. And that's why it is said that in Satya Yuga, dharma was 100%,
और कलयुग में 25%।
and
वो
in Kali Yuga it is
25%
just
है कि नहीं,
20%, and that
थोड़ा सा
20%
गैप
also
है।
exists or no, it is doubtful.
तो इसी को भगवान कहते हैं कि धर्मा विरुद्ध भूतेषु
And this is
कामोऽस्ति।
what Bhagavan
तो उस
says.
प्रकार का जो काम है वो भगवान कहते हैं कि वो मैं हूँ।
This type of karma, Bhagavan
तो
says he
मैं
is
होने का
this
मतलब
karma,
धार्मिक कृत्य है,
which is religious, which
उसमें
is
कोई अधर्म
dharmic.
नहीं है, उसमें कोई
There
पाप
is no
नहीं है।
adharma, there is no sin involved in that.
नहीं तो ये
Otherwise,
काम वासना जो है ये बहुत प्रबल है।
this sex desire is very strong,
जैसे
and
हमने कहा कि मादक द्रव्य हमारी बुद्धि को
as
विनष्ट कर देते हैं,
I said
तो उसी
that
प्रकार ये जो काम वासना
alcohol,
है
these other
ये
addiction
भी हमारी बुद्धि पर
substances,
हावी हो
they
जाती है।
destroy our intelligence.
और
Similarly, this sex
ये
desire also
बहुत प्रबल है।
overpowers the intelligence, and this desire is extremely
हमारे
strong.
चित्त की
It is
जितनी भी
very
वृत्तियां
powerफul.
हैं ये सबके
All the
ऊपर
vrittis in the chitta,
अपना प्रभाव
they
जमाती है,
get
सबको
overpowered
दबाती है।
by
काम
this
वासना
sexual
इतनी प्रबल
desire.
है कि
Sexual
हमारी
desire is
जितनी
so
भी वृत्तियां
strong
हैं,
that
आपके जो
all the
धार्मिक संस्कार
vrittis
हैं
in our chitta,
उन
all the
सबको
dharmic, the
दबाती है।
religious samskaras, they
इसलिए
also
देखा
get
जाता है कि
subdued
जितने जो
by this
बहुत
one
बड़े बड़े
desire.
ऋषि हुए उनके
That's why
ऊपर
it is seen
इंद्र के
that
महल
great
में
rishis, when
किसी से
Indra
काम करने
wanted
के
to
लिए
create obstacle in
कहीं
their
भी हाजिर नहीं हो
tapasya,
जाते,
Indra was not sending them a
वासुदेव
plate of
को
food that
रसगुल्ला दे के बोलते
let
थे कि
me keep
इससे
some
काम खत्म हो
rasgullas in
जाएगा,
front
ये
of
अपनी
him.
तपस्या भूल
His mouth
जाएगा,
will start watering and he will
इसके
forget
काम।
his tapasya. He will start running after food.
ऐसा नहीं,
No.
जैसे एक गाय खड़ी है उसके सामने आप
Like if you have, there
रोटी
is a
दिखा दो
cow,
तुरंत दौड़ के
if you
तुम्हारी तरफ
show
आएगी।
some roti in front of
तो
the cow,
तपस्वी
she will
लोग इससे
immediately start
प्रसन्न
running
होते
towards
हैं,
you.
लेकिन
But
काम
the
वासना से
tapasvis,
नहीं
the
होते।
sages,
वो
they don't
बनाते हैं।
become disturbed by
बहुत
this.
उदाहरण है उस
But
प्रकार के।
there are many
क्यों?
accounts of them becoming
क्योंकि
disturbed
काम वासना जो है
due to
ये
this
इतनी प्रबल
sexual
है,
desire. Because so
तो
this
इसको
sexual
कहते हैं कि
desire
ये
is
इसी प्रकार
extremely
से है कि
strong,
जैसे किसी को
and here it is said
कोई
that it
भूत
is
पकड़ ले,
as if
समझो
one
प्रेत
is haunted by
का
a
वेश ले
ghost
जाए।
or
अगर आपने
possessed
किसी
by a
व्यक्ति को देखा
ghost
है
or
जिसके ऊपर
spirit.
भूत चढ़ा हुआ
If
है,
you have seen a
तो फिर
person
वो व्यक्ति
possessed by
अपनी बुद्धि
some
से तो काम नहीं
ghost,
करता ना, जो प्रेत का
then the person
काम
doesn't
करता है वो तो
work
बोलता
according to
है,
his intelligence. He
उसी
just
प्रकार की
does
क्रियाएं करता है।
as per whatever he is instructed
तो इसी
by
प्रकार
the
ये काम
ghost,
वासना से
being
जब
under the
व्यक्ति
control of
प्रभावित
the
हो
ghost.
जाता है,
Similarly, when a person
तो फिर वो
becomes
अपनी
influenced by this
बुद्धि से
sexual
काम करना
desire,
बंद कर देता
then
है और
he
फिर वो
stops working according to
वासना
his
शक्ति के भीतर
intelligence.
ही काम करता है।
Rather, he
और
works
वही
being
वासना शक्ति को
overpowered
भगवान कहते हैं कि
by
वो कोई
the
मैं नहीं।
material desires, the sexual
तो वो
desire.
अधार्मिक कार्य
Bhagavan
करता
is
है।
telling that I am not
अब
that
ये
sort of
इतने जो
sexual desire
दुराचार आते रहते हैं,
out of which people
रोज
perform
ही आप देख
irreligious
सकते हैं
activities.
बलात्कार को।
So every day nowadays there
तो
is
ऐसे क्यों
news
होता
of
है?
rape.
सबको पता है
Why
जो
does
भी
this
बलात्कार
happen?
करने वाले व्यक्ति हैं, सबको पता है कि
All
बलात्कार
the
करना
rapists, they
गलत
know
है,
that
धर्म के भी विरुद्ध
rape
है
is illegal
और समाज
as well as
के जो
sinful.
संहिता है, न्याय संहिता, उसके भी विरुद्ध है। और उनको पता है कि वो अगर पकड़े जाएंगे तो दंडित होंगे।
They know that if they are
अनेक
caught by
उदाहरण
the
है, अनेक
police,
लोग पकड़े
they will
जाते
be
हैं तो
punished. And there are so
कारावास
many accounts
में
of
उनको जाना पड़ता
rapists
है,
being caught by the
लेकिन फिर भी
police and
करते
they
हैं
spent
लोग।
their life in
बंद
jail.
तो नहीं होता नहीं,
But still,
इतने
this has not
कठोर
stopped.
नियम बलात्कार के
Although
विरुद्ध बनाए
there
गए हैं,
are
फिर भी लोग
so
बलात्कार
many
करते हैं। तो ऐसा
strong
क्यों होता है?
laws
तो उसका कारण
against
यही है
this
कि ये
crime of
काम
rape,
वासना जो है ये बहुत
still it
प्रबल
has
है
not stopped. Why?
और
It shows that
हमारी
this
बुद्धि
sexual
को
desire
भटकाने का
is
कार्य करता है।
extremely strong and
तो
it
इसलिए
covers our
आध्यात्मिक मार्ग
intelligence.
में जब
That's
कोई
why
व्यक्ति
in the
आता है तो
spiritual
उसको जैसे
path,
कहा
when
जाता है कि आप
somebody
मादक
enters,
द्रव्यों का उपयोग मत
it
करो,
is
तो
when it
उसी
is
प्रकार
said that don't
काम
use,
वासना को भी नहीं
don't consume
कहा जाएगा।
alcohol or do engage in
या
any
तो
type
वो
of
ब्रह्मचर्य
addiction.
का पालन करे, और अगर
Similarly,
गृहस्थ है
this
तो
sort
उसके
of
लिए नियमित रूप से
irreligious karma is also
और
forbidden. And
परिस्थिति
if
के
one
साथ
is a brahmachari, anyway, this is forbidden for him.
संपर्क ना
And
रखे,
if somebody is a
उसी प्रकार
grihastha,
से
then
काम
also he
करना
should
चाहिए।
regulate it and at least
तो
not
इसलिए यहाँ काम
engage
को
at all with another
धर्म का
person's
विरुद्ध
wife.
भगवान ने अपना स्वरूप
So
बताया।
Bhagavan is telling that this karma, which is not against
फिर
Shastra, that is my
ऊपर से जो
Swarupa.
अपनी विभूति का भगवान ने
Then
वर्णन किया था,
the
उसका
vibhutis that he
उपसंहार
had
अगले श्लोक में
explained,
करते हैं।
now he is concluding that in the next verse. He had begun to explain this from the 7th verse. This whole world, it is in me. And then he started explaining how he's the taste of water and so on, so that we can meditate on him. Here he is not explaining in detail. He will explain in more detail in the 10th chapter, but he is giving the essence of that explanation here in one verse.
इस प्रकार से है, ये चाहिए सात्विका भावा राजसाताम साश्चये मत्तैवेति तान विद्धि न त्वं तेषु ते मयि। तो कहते हैं कि जो भी मानसिक अवस्थाएं हैं,
Translation: Know that all mental states, be they of the nature of illumination or sattvic, dynamism or rajasic, or inertia, tamasic, originate exclusively from me. I am not under the gunas and the mental states induced by them, yet they are under me.
तो यहाँ भगवान ने भाव शब्द का प्रयोग किया है।
So here Bhagavan has used the word bhava.
शब्द के भी अनेक अर्थ हैं।
The word bhava has many meanings.
हमने जो
here
श्लोक में अर्थ किया है वो भाव का अर्थ
the meaning that we have taken, that is of mental state.
मानसो विकारो मानसो भावा, मन में जो विकार होते हैं, विकार मतलब
the vikaras that we have in mind, the changes or transformations, that is also bhava. Like our mind, its state keeps changing. Sometimes we are happy, sometimes we are miserable, sometimes we are dejected, sometimes we are enthusiastic, sometimes we are lazy. So in our mind, there are so many types of bhavas.
तो उस दृष्टि से अगर हम इस श्लोक का अर्थ करते हैं,
so if we take the meaning of this verse from that angle, then what it means is that all the different types of bhavas, whether sattvic, rajasic or tamasic, they all originate from me only. So in sattvic bhava, we have sense control, forgiveness, being peaceful, or whatever is divine nature. These are all sattvic bhavas. When mind is peaceful, when senses are under control, mind is enthusiastic, it is happy, we have a sense of happiness. There is a sense of compassion towards all living beings. So this is sattvic bhava. And rajasic bhava is when we have pride in the mind, we are not satisfied, greedy. No matter how much we get, we always have the sense of something lacking in our life. Or some people become angry very quickly, or greed, the desire to accumulate more and more, not being able to forgive others even for minor mistakes. These are all demoniac natures, giving trouble to others, exploiting others, being violent to others. All this is rajas. This is rajasic nature. So here we are not talking about the activities. We are talking about the mental state, because activity follows the state of mind. And then there is tamasic bhav. In tamasic bhav, we have dejection, the shoka. Bhagavan began Gita with that word shoka only, dejection. Over that, why are you dejected? Then illusion or moha means to become bewildered.
वस्तु का ज्ञान न होना,
not
परिस्थिति का
having
ज्ञान न
correct
होना,
knowledge of the
दूसरों को
situation,
गलत
of the
समझना, दूसरों ने जो
object,
कहा है
misunderstanding
उनका
others,
जो वास्तविक अर्थ है उसको ना
whatever
समझ के
someone is
उसका अर्थ
saying,
निकाल लेना,
not taking the correct meaning,
ये सब
rather
तमस के
taking
कारण
the
होता
wrong
है।
meaning. All this
इसके
happens
कारण
due to
फिर लड़ाई
tamas.
झगड़े होते हैं,
Then it leads to fight
या निर्णय ना ले सकना, कोई
or
परिस्थिति आ गई,
not being able
ये
to take
करूँगा वो करूँगा, बुद्धि
decisions,
भ्रमित हो जाती है, निर्णय नहीं ले पाती क्या करना चाहिए, प्रमाद होना,
not being able to take proper decision, what
निर्णय
should
नहीं
be
ले
done, what
पाते,
should be
समय पे
avoided,
ध्यान नहीं दे
or
पाते,
being in pramada, being careless, not being attentive,
मन में एक आलस्य भरा रहता है,
mind being
स्वप्न
full of
देखते रहना,
laziness,
दिवा स्वप्न, दिन में बैठ के
dreaming during the day,
बस सोचते रहना,
just keep
तो
thinking.
ये प्रवृत्तियां सब तामसिक
So
प्रवृत्तियां हैं,
all this
तामसिक
is
भाव
the
है।
nature of tamas.
तो
This
भगवान
is
कहना ये
tamasic
चाहते
bhava.
हैं कि सब कुछ मैं
So
हूँ।
Bhagavan wants to say that all these originate from me
जैसे मैंने
only.
बताया कि जल में रस में हूँ, अग्नि में तेज में हूँ, आकाश में
Earlier
सूर्य में
he
हूँ,
said that I am the taste
और
of water, I am the
यहाँ वो
strength
यही
of
कहना
the
चाहते हैं जो
Purusha,
आरंभ में कहा था कि
etc.
सर्वे सूत्र
Now he wants to say what he had told earlier, that he
मणि
is the
इव, सूत्रे मणिगण, सब कुछ
he is
सूत्र
the
में ही है।
invisible thread in which all the
वस्तुओं
pearls
की
are
दृष्टि
strung.
से तो सत्वरजस तमस एक
Basically,
ही
he
चीज
wanted
है,
to say that he is everything.
ये हमारी
So
दृष्टि से है,
actually, in him there is no
इसलिए
sattva,
कहते हैं
rajas,
कि इनको तुम
tamas.
सब मेरे से ही जानो।
It is in us. These
तो
sattva, rajas,
एक
tamas are in
शब्द का
me,
ये अर्थ
are
हुआ।
in us. So Bhagavan is telling
दूसरा एक
that
और अर्थ है
you should
भाव शब्द
understand
का,
they originate from me
वो है कि
only.
जो भी चीजें
So
होती
this is
हैं
one meaning of bhava, and the
उनको
other
जब
meaning is
भवन्ति
that
भावा
whatever
भूतानि
happens,
इत्येव
that is
तद्धिता,
also known as bhava.
ये जितने भी पदार्थ हैं ये भी भाव पदार्थ हैं, क्योंकि
All the different
न्याय के
padarthas
अनुसार
we have, these are all
सात
bhava
पदार्थ हैं,
padartha, because according to
प्रकृति
Nyaya,
द्रव्य
we
सामंजस्य
have
रसना
seven
न्याय और
padarthas.
अभाव, तो उनको दो में आप विभाग कर सकते हैं,
So if
भाव
you
और
divide them
अभाव।
in two, then there will be
तो
bhava and
जितने भी भाव
abhava.
पदार्थ हैं,
So all the bhava
चाहे द्रव्य हैं
padarthas,
चाहे गुण
whether
हैं
it
या
is
क्रिया हैं,
dravya, guna
वास्तविक
or
भाव
kriya,
पदार्थ तीन ही हैं।
actually there are only three
अपना
bhava
अनुभव है
padarthas. All
वो
our
तीन चीजों का
experience
है,
is about
या तो
three
द्रव्यों
things
का है,
only.
जैसे कुर्सी है, मेज है,
Either it
कप
is
है,
about dravya like the
व्यक्ति
table,
हैं, ये जो चीजें हैं,
cup, etc.,
पानी जल, ये
human
ये
being,
द्रव्य पदार्थ हैं।
water. These are all
और जो
dravya
क्रिया है,
padarthas. Or there is
शक्ति है,
activity or action, something is
इधर
moving,
आती है उधर जाती है, ऊपर जाती है
comes
नीचे
here,
आती है,
goes
जितनी
there,
भी क्रियाएं हैं
goes up, goes
उनका
down.
हमको अनुभव
All
होता
the
है,
actions
या फिर
we
कुछ गुणों का
experience
अनुभव
them,
होता है।
or we
तो
experience the
चीनी
gunas.
मीठी है तो चीनी द्रव्य है,
Sugar is
मीठा
sweet.
का गुण है। तो जितने भी हमारे अनुभव
This,
हैं
that sweetness is its
वो सब इन्हीं
quality.
तीनों के हैं,
So all our
तो इसलिए
experiences of
भाव
these
शब्द
three
का यही
only.
अर्थ लिया जा
That's
सकता
why
है।
the word bhava
और वो जो द्रव्य गुण और क्रियाएं हैं वो भी सत्व
means
रजस
this
तमस में
also.
होती हैं।
Then the dravya guna
खाना,
kriya, they are
जल,
also
अग्नि,
in sattva
आहार और
rajas tamas. Like
गुण,
Bhagavan says
आहार भोजन जो है वो भी
that
तीन
food is
प्रकार
in
का होता है,
three
सात्विक भोजन, राजसिक
gunas.
भोजन,
Food can be
तामसिक भोजन।
sattvic, it can be
इसी
rajasic, or
प्रकार
it can be
क्रियाएं भी तीन
tamasic.
प्रकार, गुण भी तीन
Similarly,
प्रकार के
activities
होते
also,
हैं।
gunas also,
तो इसलिए
they're all
कहते
of
हैं
three
कि जितने भी
types.
भाव
So
हैं
Bhagavan says
वो सब
that all these bhavas,
मेरे से ही आते हैं,
they
और
originate
हमारे
from me
शरीर में भी,
only.
हमारा
In
शरीर
our
है,
body,
फिर इंद्रियां हैं,
so just
पंचभूत
like
के
we
द्वारा,
have this body, we have the senses, and then we have the
हमारा
objects
जितना भी
of
व्यवहार होता है संसार
senses
में
or
वो
objects of enjoyment. So
शरीर है,
in this world,
और शरीर से
whatever
होकर
we do, it is
बाकी
all around
का
this
व्यवहार होकर
only.
बाह्य
We
पदार्थ,
have the
या तो
body,
बाहर से
the
हमारे ऊपर
senses,
कुछ
and the sense
सूचनाएं आ रही
objects.
हैं हमारी ज्ञानेंद्रियों के द्वारा,
Our
या हम कर्मेंद्रियों के द्वारा
Gyanendriyas
बाह्य जो पदार्थ
are
हैं
getting knowledge from
उनके साथ में
outside,
कुछ
or the Karma
बर्ताव कर
Indriyas,
रहे हैं,
they are
पकड़ना,
interacting
छोड़ना,
with the sense objects,
पकड़ना,
either
छोड़ना,
holding
पकड़ना,
them,
छोड़ना,
giving
कुछ
them up,
क्रियाएं कर रहे हैं,
transforming them. We are doing some
तो ये जो
activity in
भाव
that.
हैं, ये
So this
सारे
is also
भाव जो हैं
bhava.
वो कहते
So
हैं
all this
मैं हूँ।
bhava, Bhagavan says that I am this bhava.
तो कहने का
This is
इसका
what we
मतलब
should
क्या है,
understand.
इसका उद्देश्य
So
क्या है
what
कहने का?
does he
तो
mean?
कहने
What
का
is the
उद्देश्य
purpose of
यही है
saying
कि
this? The purpose
हम जो
is
कुछ भी
that
देखें
whatever we
उसका मूल
see,
भगवान है।
its origin is Bhagavan.
हमारी क्या समस्या है
What is our
कि हम
problem?
मूल को
That
भूल जाते हैं,
we forget
और जो
the
ऊपर चीज है उसमें
origin Rather, we become caught up in other things. And this is why we fall into bondage of karma. But if we have remembrance of the original, then we will not be implicated in the bondage of karma. So just like there is tree, from tree we get the leaves, fruits, etc. We get shadow. So if we use that and if we do not water the inert, we just clean the we just clean the leaves but not water the tree, then the tree will dry up. Similarly, what we do is that we become totally lost in these worldly relations, but we do not know who is the origin of everything. And then we become implicated in these relations, whether the relations are with human beings or with animals or with objects. We have our treasure, our property, our wealth, but we do not understand what is the origin of everything. So, if we can remain aware of the origin of everything, then we will be like the lotus leaf in this world. It never becomes wet actually. Then we will not be implicated in the bondage of karma. So, this is what Bhagavan wants to say here. Otherwise, somebody may say that Bhagavan is telling he is the tamasic vritti also, then why should we give it up? Because every person invents his own logic. Whatever a person wants to do, according to that, he invents his logic from Shastra. Then he will say that, see what Bhagavan is saying here. So, he is not told only about Satvik. He is telling that he is also the Rajas and Tamas. Then why do we need to bother about anything? So that is not his point. His point is that we should remember him. Then Bhagavan says something that is surprising and important to understand. He says that these have originated from me, because earlier only he had said that all the para and para prakriti together make up this world. So he says that they have originated from me, but he says that I am not in them. And te mai can also have two meanings. One can be they are not in me. One meaning is that I am not in them, but they are in me. In both ways, the meaning can be derived. Both are correct. All meanings can be applied to Bhagavan. So it is surprising that everything has come from him and he is saying, I am not in them. So one thing what we have to understand is that when Bhagavan says, I am not in them, that means they have not originated from some part of me, something in me. Like the cloud is in the sky. So cloud is not made of sky. Both have not mixed together. So there is no cloud in the sky and there is no sky in the cloud, but still there is cloud in the sky. The other example is that suppose you draw a big circle and inside that you make a smaller circle. The bigger one is not in the smaller one, but the smaller one is in the bigger one. So Bhagavan is telling that I am not in them, but they are in me. You can understand in this way also. Or you can also say that I am not under the gunas, I am not under the control of gunas, but the gunas are under my control. So in this way, different meanings can be derived regarding this point.
तो कहने का मतलब यह है कि भगवान जो
The
है वो
but the main point
काल
is
और
that
वस्तु से सीमित है।
Bhagavan is not limited
मैं उनमें
by
नहीं
time,
हूँ और
place,
वो मेरे में है या
circumstance.
वो मेरे में नहीं है, जैसा भी आप अर्थ लगाएं, इसका
Whatever
उद्देश्य क्या
meaning
है
you
कि
take,
मैं जो है
the purport
जब मैं
is
उनमें हो जाऊंगा
that
तो मैं उनसे सीमित हो
if
जाऊंगा।
I am in them, then I will become
और आगे
limited
फिर
by
भगवान
them.
कहेंगे कि मैं उनमें
And
नहीं
later
हूँ,
he will say that I
और
am
मैं
not
उनमें
in
हूँ और फिर
them.
कहेंगे मैं उनमें नहीं हूँ, ऐसा
He
भी
will say
कहेंगे।
that I am in them, but I am not in them.
पश्चिमी
He will
योगम
speak
ऐश्वर्य,
like this also.
मेरे ऐश्वर्य देखिए। तो कहने का उद्देश्य इतना ही है कि वो हर चीज के आधार हैं,
The purport is that Bhagavan
लेकिन
is the foundation
हर
of
चीज से
everything,
अलग भी हैं।
but he is also different from everything.
ऐसा नहीं है
It is
जैसा
not that
कुछ लोग मानते हैं कि भगवान
how
ही
some
सृष्टि
people
बन
think
गए और फिर
that
भगवान की
Bhagavan
उत्पत्ति हो
himself
गई।
became this world and then
आपके
there was
पास
no
जो
more
है
Bhagavan. Like
50 ग्राम
if
सोना है
suppose you
और आप
have
कुछ
50
सोने
grams
का
of
आभूषण बनाएं
gold
तो फिर वो सोना
and
तो और कहीं
you
अलग नहीं रहा,
manufacture a
तो इस प्रकार भगवान नहीं है।
jewelry. So
कहने का
out of
मतलब
that
यह
gold,
है कि
now you don't
भगवान
have that gold anymore. It has transformed into
तो
jewelry.
क्या
But
बात है,
Bhagavan is not
तो
like
फिर
that.
भगवान में
When
कोई
he
कमी
says
नहीं
that the
रहेगी,
world appears from him, that does
इस
not mean
सृष्टि
that
में
now
भोजन
something is
परोसा
lacking in
जाएगा,
his
ऐसा
body or
कुछ
he
नहीं है।
has lost his
वो
weight.
फिर भी उससे अलग भी हैं
No,
और
he is still
ये
different
उनसे अलग
from
भी
this
हैं।
world, and still
तो
the world
मेन
has
बात यह है
originated
कि
from
वो
him
सब
only.
चीज उनके
So the
आधार हैं
main point is
और
that
उनसे आई
everything
हुई
is
इस
under his
सृष्टि आगे भी
control,
है।
and because everything has
अभी
originated
यहाँ
from him,
यही इसके
so
जो
everything
अध्याय
is
हैं,
meant
छह
for his
अध्याय
seva.
7वें से 12वें तक,
Because these middle six
ये
chapters
इनको
from
भक्ति
7 to
भाव
12,
बोला जाता है।
they are related
जैसे
to
पहले अध्याय
bhakti yoga.
2 3 4 5 उनको कर्म परक
Like
बोला
the
जाता है,
first
ये
six
भक्ति
chapters,
परक है।
they are
जो
primarily
भक्ति
concerned
की
with
दृष्टि
karma
से
yoga,
इनको
but
देखना
these
है
six
कि ये
chapters
कौन सा
are
विषय
concerned
है,
with
सब
bhakti
कुछ
yoga.
मैं ही
So
हूँ,
we
मेरे
should
लिए है,
analyze them
ये
from the
मेरे
point
लिए
of
है।
bhakti. And so Bhagavan is
हम क्या
saying
है,
that
हम इस
because they have
भोग के लिए
originated
बने
from
हुए हैं,
me, they are that's why they are meant for
अपने
me.
भोग के लिए
But
बनाए
what
हुए हैं,
happens
ये
is
भोग
that
का
we
पदार्थ है,
get deluded into
इसलिए मैं
thinking
इससे
that
सुख
these
प्राप्त करूं,
objects of these are
स्वतंत्र
objects
होकर
of our
सुख भोगूं।
enjoyment,
तो
and
उसके
we
कारण
want to
फिर मैं
independently
दुख
enjoy
भोगता
them.
हूँ।
That's why we become
लेकिन
implicated
जब
in
हम
the
इसको
bondage.
देखेंगे कि ये भगवान की
But when
सृष्टि
we
और
see
भगवान के
that
सेवा,
this is all creation of
तो
Bhagavan
इसका
and it
मतलब
is
यह है
meant
कि
for
अब
his
हमको कुछ
seva,
सुख प्राप्त
now
नहीं
that
होगा,
does not mean that I will not derive any
मैं
pleasure or I
इसको
will die
सेवा
out
के
of
प्रसाद
hunger.
के रूप में ग्रहण
No,
कर सकता हूँ, कोई भी
I
चीज
can
हो, कोई
accept this
भोजन की बात
object
नहीं है,
as the
चाहे वो
prasada
भोग है,
of
चाहे छवि
Bhagavan,
है, चाहे
whether it is
ये
food or your
मनुष्य है।
home or your clothes or
और
your
जो कृपा
body
मानते हैं
itself.
उनका प्रसाद
We should
मान के उसको
understand
स्वीकार
all of
करते हैं,
these
जिससे फिर
objects
हम
as
आनंद
the
प्राप्त
mercy
होता
of
है।
Bhagavan and
नहीं तो
use
क्या
them
होता है
in
कि
their
हम ये जो
in his seva.
सत्व रजतमस है
Then we
इनके
will remain
अनुयायी
free
हैं,
from bondage. Otherwise, we will
तो ये भी
remain
बदलते
implicated
रहते
in
हैं,
sattva, rajas, tamas
कभी सात्विक वृत्ति
because they
आती है,
keep
सात्विक
changing.
भाव आता है,
Sometimes we have sattvic
तो
vritti, we
सबसे
have the
क्रूर
feeling of
व्यक्ति है उसके
sattva.
मन में भी कभी सात्विक भाव
Even
आता है।
the most cruel
यदि कोई
person,
पत्नी पति
sometimes
होते
he
हैं
also has sattvic
या
bhava because
आतंकवादी
he
होते
also
हैं,
has a
तो उनकी भी
wife, a
भावनाएं
child.
रहती हैं सात्विक,
Even the
तो
terrorists,
उनके
they
प्रति
also have
कठोरता
some
भी दिखाते
emotions
हैं।
towards their family members,
सबके
and they do
प्रति
not
क्रूर
display
नहीं होते,
cruelty
कुछ
towards
तो लोग ऐसे
their
होते हैं
family
जिनके प्रति
members.
उनके
They are not
मन में
cruel
बहुत
towards
क्रोध होता है।
everyone. There are some
तो ये
people
भाव
for
हमारे
whom they
बदलते
also
रहते
have
हैं और
love.
इन भावों से ही
So
चलते
these
रहते हैं।
mental states they keep changing,
हमारा
and
जब
our
मन जो
life
है भावों के
functions
अधीन
based
रहता
on
है,
our state of mind. Our
और
entire
इन
life
भावों में अगर
is
हम भगवान का
under
भजन करने
our
लगें,
mental state. So
भक्ति
if
भाव से
we in
चलें,
this bhava, in this mental
तो
state,
फिर
if we
वो
start
भाव जो
seeing
हैं
Bhagavan,
शुद्ध हो जाएंगे,
then the bhava
फिर
will
वो
become
बंधन
purified.
ना होकर
Then it will no
हमारे मुक्ति का
longer
कारण बन
remain
जाएंगे।
as the cause of bondage, rather, it will
तो इस
become the
दृष्टि
cause
से
of liberation.
हमको
So
देखना है,
we should see from this
और
point
अगर
of
इस
view.
दृष्टि से हम नहीं
And
देखते हैं
if we do not see from
तो
this
कोई
point
अगर
of view,
सात्विक व्यक्ति है
then if somebody is sattvic,
तो वो देखने में लगेगा कि बहुत
then he may appear
सज्जन व्यक्ति है, साधु
as
व्यक्ति है, लेकिन
very
अगर उसका
well
आधार
cultured
भगवान नहीं है
sadhu. But if the sattvic
तो उसकी
person's
सात्विकता
is
भी कोई ज्यादा
foundation is
सही
not
नहीं है।
Bhagavan, then his sattvic state
क्यों,
is
कभी भी
not of
बदल
much
सकता है।
value because it can change
और
anytime.
जैसा कि गीता के तीसरे अध्याय
And
में
just like
भगवान
in the
बताया
third
गया है
chapter of Gita, Bhagavan
कि जो
says
अपने लिए
that one
भोजन बनाता है वो
who
चोर है,
cooks food for himself only,
अज्ञान कारणात्। तो जो सज्जन व्यक्ति है, जो सात्विक है, बड़ा ईमानदार है, नैतिक व्यक्ति है, तो वास्तव में वो भी तो चोर ही है।
Even the Sattvic
अगर हम
person,
आध्यात्मिक
if
दृष्टि
he
से
is not
देखेंगे तो
accepting Bhagavan, then he is also a thief
उसका जो
only.
सज्जनता है वो तो हमारी दृष्टि से है ना,
His
लेकिन जो उसका मालिक है उसकी दृष्टि
well
से वो ठीक है।
cultured behavior is just for himself
जैसे
only.
चोर लोग जब चोरी करते हैं कुछ
When a
आपस
thief
में
does
ग्रुप में चोरी
when
करते
a
हैं फिर
thief
आपस में
steals
बंटवारा करते
something,
हैं,
the
तो
gang of
बंटवारा
thieves,
करते
when
हुए
they
बड़ी
steal
सज्जनता से
something,
करते हैं,
they
ईमानदारी से
divide
करते हैं।
the property among themselves, but they
तो
do this
उनकी
division
ईमानदारी जो है वो
very
ईमानदारी उन्हीं
honestly.
लोगों के लिए
But this
ईमानदारी है, बाकी
honesty
वो
is
आपस में हर
only
किसी को चोर
between
नहीं
that
कहते।
group. But for the outside society, they
जिसका
are
धन
thieves
चुराया
only.
है वो क्या इनको कहेगा कि अरे बड़ा ईमानदार आदमी है?
The person whose money was lost, will he say, "Oh,
वो
these
तो
thieves are
चोरी
so
कर रहा है।
honest, they are dividing the wealth among
तो ऐसे
themselves
ही
so
भगवान की
honestly"?
दृष्टि में वो
No,
सज्जन भी
he will
चोर है।
consider this person as a thief only. That's why,
भगवान को नहीं
from
मानता,
Bhagavan's point of view,
जो असली
the Sattvic person,
मालिक है उसका
who is well
वो क्या
behaved, well
स्वीकार करता
cultured,
है
but
कि
he does
चोर
not
चोर है।
accept Bhagavan, from Bhagavan's point of view, he is also a thief only,
तो
because he is
ये
not
बात
accepting the master
लोगों
of
को
this
समझ में
world.
नहीं आती है।
So many people,
ये
they don't
प्रश्न किया जाता
understand
है कि
this
कोई
point,
भक्त है
because this
और उसका
question is
बुद्धि
raised that if
राजसिक
there
तामसिक
is
में
a
बड़ा तेजी
devotee
है
and he is not
और उसमें कुछ
sattvic, he is rajasic or tamasic,
गलत
he is of
भावनाएं भी हो
very
सकती
angry
हैं,
nature, he may have some wrong
साधुता के
desires also,
व्यवहार भी हो सकता है,
he may have
और दूसरा जो
wrong
भगवान के
behavior
शासन को
also.
नहीं मानता है,
And on the other
ईमानदार है,
side, there is a
हिंसा नहीं
very
करता,
well
चोरी नहीं
cultured, well
करता है,
behaved
दुष्ट है,
person. He is
ऐसे
very
बहुत भगवान
honest. He
अच्छे
never
हैं।
steals anything, but he doesn't accept
तो
Bhagavan.
सामाजिक
So,
दृष्टि
who
से
is
गलत
better
नहीं है,
of
वो
the
भी
two?
अच्छा है।
So, from social
अलग अलग
point of
दृष्टि है
vieव,
ना देखने
so
की।
from social angle,
तो
the Sattvic person
सामाजिक
will
दृष्टि से
obviously
तो
be
जो
considered better.
ईश्वर को नहीं मानता लेकिन सात्विक
From
व्यक्ति है वो अच्छा है,
society will
भगवान को
obviously
भक्त
give
है,
credit to the Sattvic person.
लेकिन
But
राजसिक तामसिक व्यवहार
and
करता है वो गलत है।
according to
और न्याय की
society, the
दृष्टि से
devotee who is behaving in
सबसे
Rajasic and
ज्यादा जो
Tamasic way will
न्याय
be
करते हैं
considered
उनकी
wrong.
दृष्टि से भी वो
And
सात्विक
even
आदमी अच्छा
the
है,
law of the land will
लेकिन भगवान
also
की दृष्टि से क्या
give
लगेगा,
credit
उसके
to the
त्याग
Sattvic
वेद
person.
शुक्राचार
But
और कर्म
Bhagavan's
कांड जो
vision is different.
लिखा है ना उन्होंने, तो वो एक अलग दृष्टि है। एक ही
That's why he
चीज को
uttered
एक ही
that
व्यवस्था को
apichet
हम अलग अलग
suduracharo
दृष्टि से
verse.
देख सकते हैं,
So
और
one
उसमें ये देखना
object
पड़ता
can
है
be
कि जो कौन
analyzed,
सी
or one
दृष्टि जो
situation
है वो
can be
सात्विक
analyzed
है,
from
कौन सी
different
तामसिक है।
angles. And then you have to analyze which vision
तो
is
इस
superior, which
दृष्टि से
is
हमको ये
inferior.
समझना पड़ेगा
So we have to understand from this
कि
point of view
जो सात्विक व्यक्ति है
that the
वो
Sattvic
समाज की
person,
दृष्टि से ठीक है, लेकिन
he may be
आध्यात्मिक
right
दृष्टि
from
से
the point of view of
कोई
society, but
भौतिक
from the
व्यक्ति है,
point of
वो भी
bhakti,
कर्म के बंधन में
the
है,
bhakti
उसका भी
angle,
अपना अहंकार
he
है।
is also implicated
वो
in
अहंकार
bondage.
का
He has his
स्तर
own ego.
बाहर से देखने
That
में
ego may not
बहुत
be
विनम्र व्यक्ति है,
very
लेकिन उसका बहुत
visible in
सूक्ष्म
the
अहंकार
society.
रहेगा,
He may appear
वो
very
टच हो
humble,
सकता है।
but he will have a
तो जो
very
तो जाएगा तभी अगर कोई वास्तव में भक्त बनता है,
subtle ahankara,
उसके अंदर
and
ये
that ahankara will not go
सांसारिक
away, because
संबंध
ahankara goes away only when you become devotee and
इसलिए
you
भगवान
become
कहते
the
हैं कि
dasa of
इससे
Bhagavan. You have this
काम
bhava
के
of
फलों
dasa.
को हम
Only then
भोग
the
सकते हैं।
material
ये
ego will go
समझिए,
away.
मैं उनमें नहीं हूँ। तो इसी के साथ आज का प्रवचन हम
So we
समाप्त
will
करते हैं, किसी
stop
को कोई
here,
प्रश्न हो
and
तो।
if you have any question, you can ask.
नवदीप जी का प्रश्न है, बाबा जी
Question.
महाराज ययाति ने अपनी स्त्री
Yayati
को हजारों
enjoyed
साल तक सुख भोगा, फिर
with
उसके
his
भी बहुत
wife
सारे
for
पुत्र और
thousands
पुत्रियां
of
थी,
years, but he
और ऐसा
didn't have
कहा जाता
thousands
है
of
कि
children,
उन्होंने
and it
अपने
is
पति
said
को
that he
धार्मिक
still
जीवन
enjoyed
जीने
with
के
his
लिए
wife in a
कहा। अब
dharmic
इसे
way.
कैसे समझे?
How do we
आज के
understand
समय
this?
में
And how to apply
जब
Sri
शायद ही कोई भी
Bhagavan's
जो है
instruction when in
अपने पति को
contemporary
अच्छा
time
जीवन जीना
hardly
चाहता है,
there is a
बच्चे
married
बच्चाओं की
couple
खुशियों
who
को
only
कैसे
unite for
त्याग
the
दें?
desire of begetting children?
तो जो ययाति ने अपनी स्त्री के साथ में भोग किया, तो भोग का मतलब यही नहीं है कि संभोग किया।
So when you say
इसका
that
अनुमान है
Yayati enjoyed with his
कि
wife,
हमारा
that
एक
enjoyment does not
विचारधारा बन
mean
गई है
only sexual
कि स्त्री
union.
के
We
साथ
think like
संभोग करने
this
का मतलब
because
संभोग
this is
किया,
our modern thinking, that
लेकिन वो
enjoying
जरूरी
with
नहीं है।
wife only means sexual union,
अगर आप
but that is not
ऊज्ज्वल नीलमणि
necessary.
पढ़ें,
If you
जो ऋषि
study
गोस्वामी जी
Ujjwala
महाराज
Neelmani of
बताते
Sri
हैं,
Rupa Goswami, then at the end, this is
ये
what
जो
he
उत्कृष्ट
says,
व्यक्ति होते हैं
that the advanced
उनका
people,
संभोग में
people of very
इतना
high standard,
आनंद नहीं आता
they
जितना
do not
भाव,
derive so much pleasure in
तो
sexual
इसलिए
union
उसका
as
जो
much as
भाव है
they
वो
derive
वास्तव में
in the
वो
bhava.
अपनी
So actually the bhava between husband and wife. So if one is uniting with a wife or with a prostitute, they both are not same because the prostitute doesn't have a bhava. She is uniting just for money, and the man also doesn't have any bhava for her. But when there is union with wife, then there is a bhava also, depends on what sort of relation is there. But the case of prostitute is not same as that of the wife. So the advanced people, they give prominence to bhava, not to activity.
पत्नी के साथ में भोग किया, इसका मतलब कोई ये जरूरी नहीं है कि उन्होंने भौतिक क्रिया ही की हो.
It is not so. It is not necessary that Yayati Maharaj engaged in sexual union only. Now we do not know the complete history. Maybe they might have more children also. But the main point is that we also see in society that any Preeti gives pleasure, not the material activities. Material activities are just temporary. Today's situation is like this only. Now, whatever is today's situation, so what can be done? At least one can try to ensure that he limits himself or herself to the lawfully wedded wife or husband only. In today's situation, even that will be understood as dharmic. Next question. If the objective is knowing that bhava arising from Rajogun and Tamogun is coming from Sri Bhagavan, then why not say remember him in all situations? What is the practical use? From Sri Hari's perspective, there is no difference between the bhavas in material world conditioned living act. But in material world, the conditioned living entity is affected by these bhavas arising from gunas, and there are negative consequences if they act in lower gunas. So am I forbidding them? Bhagavan knows that these gunas have different influences. That's why he's enlisting them differently. Otherwise, there was no need to say Sattvic, Rajasic, Tamasic. He is explaining from our point of view only. We do experience them. Bhagavan doesn't have any Sattva, Rajas, Tamas bhav. He is Vishuddha Sattva. He is explaining to us from our point of view that even if we have this bhava and we maintain remembrance that this bhava is also coming from Bhagavan, then its influence will be reduced. Later he will also say that always remember me. He'll also say, but how will you understand that if there is tamasic and rajasic bhava, then what should I do? Ultimately the point is this much only, that always remember that always remember Bhagavan. This is the essence. But this lengthy shastra that is written, lengthy lectures which are given, they are done to teach us that in different situations how to deal. We have so many states of mind, we meet so many people, we are unable to take proper decisions. So he's explaining in detail.
Yes.
In Sattvic Bhava, you said that the person's like able to easily forgive. Then you said in Rajas it was difficult. Can you explain the difference between the Rajasic person who's not able to easily forgive, or the Rajasic Bhava, versus the Tamasic? How does it look?
Tamasic will not even know what is forgiveness.
So the
idea will not come to him.
So they'll just think that they're right and that's it, and they'll kind of just hold on to it for life against the person. And then Rajasic is more like aggressive attacking, or how does it look?
Yeah.
With the passion will make them attack or try to, and Tamas won't even think about forgiving. They'll just think they're right.
Right.
And then Sattva easily forgives. So how would that thinking go in their mind?
Thinking being empathetic to other person.
Okay. So they'll be able to see, oh, makes sense why that person did that. They're having,
thinking that his bhav is also coming from Bhagavan.
okay, got it. I have one other question. I'm still stuck on that point that you made. Like, how can, to me, I still can't see how a person in Rajas or Tamas can accept Bhagavan, because Rajas is so deluded by pride, possessiveness, and anger, or in a tamasic person is even worse. So how, I don't understand how they could accept Bhagavan. How can they even see?
People who are now in spiritual life, so you think they are all sattvic?
No, but I don't think they've accepted Bhagavan.
No, if they have not accepted, what are they doing here?
Well, there's other reasons.
No, but still, they are not against Bhagavan. They accept Bhagavan. They are doing things which Bhagavan says. They may not accept 100% or fully devoted, but you cannot say that they don't accept at all. So acceptance is also gradation, shraddha, like
Okay.
color.
So even if they accept 10%, that's accepting Bhagavan. Okay. Thank you.
ठीक है पुरुषोत्तम महाराज.
I have a question regarding the vasana. Even though you may understand these things, but still the vasana still remains. That I am Dasavasmi, or this all comes from the Bhagavan, everything. But still, because of previous sanskara, so how can one go through the process or whatever it is to get rid of this vasana? और वासना, I'm sorry, हिंदी में बोलना था मुझे, भूल गया. ये वासना को कैसे दूर कर सकते हैं भगवान को स्वीकृत करते हुए भी?
How can we get rid of the vasanas even while remembering Bhagavan? So the process of removing vasanas is the just like you have the material vasanas, we have the vasana for bhakti also. That is called bhakti vasana. So when we will have the bhakti vasana, the material vasanas will go away. So we have to strengthen the bhakti vasana, the bhakti samskara. That is what sadhana is all about. First of all, we have to decide based on intelligence that this is not good for me. I am suffering because of this. We should have a strong determination. Generally, that determination is not strong. Just like Sri Rupa Goswami says, that the more your faith becomes strong, your determination will become strong, and these material vasanas will not disturb you, they will not deviate you. So we have to make our shraddha strong, our bhakti vasana strong. So how to do that? Just like currently we are studying in Srimad Bhagavatam, its main reason is satsanga only. There can be other ways also, just like Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti says that we can get bhakti from jnana also, but
प्रायणम ही सत हम प्रायणम ही सताम, ऐसा श्लोक है ना जो अंतिम श्लोक 11वें अध्याय का हमने पढ़ा था, तो उसमें वो यही बता रहे हैं.
So
इसका मूल जो है ना वो सत्संग है.
This is what Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti explains, that the fundamental point is about satsanga. And what is satsanga? Satsanga means to associate with sadhu. Associating with sadhu, their association is also of many types. In Bhakti Sandarbha also, Sri Jiva Goswami has explained that taking darshan of sadhu is also satsanga, hearing from sadhu is also satsanga, doing seva to sadhu is also satsanga. So accordingly, there you will be influenced. So actually it happens by kripa only.
तो ये अगर इस सब चीज का हम विश्लेषण करें ठीक से, तो इसमें हमारा
if we analyze everything properly, then our endeavor and the mercy of Bhagavan both go together, and our practice is very limited, And just like everyone has experienced that in our sadhana practice, so many obstacles are created by our material vasanas. That's why we pray to Bhagavan, or when we do Gayatri Japa, the word prachodayat means this only, that Bhagavan, please inspire our intelligence, because ultimately it is all about inspiring the intelligence. If your intelligence can, if your buddhi can focus on bhakti, then that's all. The job is done. That's why in the mantra you have prachodayat, or in the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, you have the word dhimahi. This is the meaning, that we pray to Bhagavan to inspire our intelligence. This is our prayer. So when we pray like this sincerely, then we receive the mercy of Bhagavan. This is the process.
प्रार्थना श्लोक और भी
संदीप
कोई?
जी
संदीप, लेट हो गया भाई तू, कहाँ गायब हो गया था?
प्रणाम बाबा जी महाराज। तो एक्चुअली वो रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन था, तो मुझे लगा कि वो कंप्लीट हो गया है पुरुषोत्तम प्रभु का, उसी से रिलेटेड था कि अगर किसी
the question is related with the previous one.
मूल देख सकते हैं क्या कि नहीं, क्योंकि
can we see Bhagavan in every object or not in some objects? Because we heard earlier also, like if somebody is addicted to wine and if he sees Bhagavan in that wine also, then slowly he will lose taste in that. So if we analyze according to this logic, then in any type of object we can see Bhagavan. So is there not a risk of being deviated? So the point is that if he actually sees Bhagavan in that, he will lose the taste. But practically he doesn't do that. What you are saying is theoretical. Yes, that will happen. But when you actually try to do that, it is very difficult to do it practically, because that's the point. Your vasanas, they will overpower your mind so much that you will not be able to think about Bhagavan. If he can actually do that, then actually he will come out of it. He will not remain implicated in that. Because no matter whichever way you remember Bhagavan, that remembrance of Bhagavan will always purify you. But that remembrance should actually happen. So we said that no matter whichever way you remember him, you will become purified. But impure heart, in that impure heart, the smaran doesn't happen. That's why we call it impure. Impurity means that only. Impurity takes you away from Bhagavan. Ultimately, what is purity and impurity? Impurity and impurity is this much only, that when our chitta becomes pure, then our mind, in an impure mind becomes away from Bhagavan. Pure mind goes towards Bhagavan. So where does our mind go? Our mind is always looking for rasa.
तो सब लोग रसिक ही हैं.
So ultimately everyone is a rasika. The only difference is who is looking for rasa in what. So in that sense everyone is a rasika bhakta, because you cannot be devoid of rasa. If you are devoid of rasa, then the person will commit suicide only. Those who have no rasa remaining in their life, they commit suicide. As long as the person has some rasa in his life, then till then his life will sustain, it will continue.
चलो प्रार्थना श्लोक. सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनंदनः पार्थो वत्स सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत् एकं शास्त्रं देवकी पुत्र गीतम् एको देवो देवकी पुत्र एव एको मन्त्रस्तस्य नामानि यानि कर्माप्येकं तस्य देवस्य सेवा कार्पण्यदोषोपहतः स्वभावः पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेताः यच्छ्रेयः स्यान्निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधिमां त्वां प्रपन्नम् यत्र योगेश्वरः कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीर्विजयो ध्रुवा नीतिर्मतिर्मम कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांघ्रये। भवे भवे यथा भक्तिः पादयोस्तव जायते तथा कुरुष्व देवेश नाथस्त्वं नो यतः प्रभो। नाम संकीर्तनं यस्य सर्वपापप्रणाशनं प्रणामो दुःखशमनस्तं नमामि हरिं परम्। हरि ओम तत्सत्।